very heavy. And I'd organised, for 2 years now, they've been coming round and they go into the garden, pull it out, tip it and put it in the bin back. And every so often she gets in her head to move it. And there's a bit of a slope as well, and she's only like 5 foot and a bit. So, and she'd gone, and of course I said, don't do it, don't touch it, leave it alone, it'll be all right. So of course, got back, and of course she's gone and moved it. And you kind of think, well, it's great being independent. On the other hand, she's had umpteen falls for one reason. And the last thing I need, moving towards this, and the few trusts that are making some efforts and having problems with this, they're trying the revolutionary approach and saying, okay, now, this is what we expect now, and start doing the benchmarking and whatever. And I remember asking, and in fact 2 weeks ago I was at and I went to see one of the speakers went up to her later on. And about 2 years ago I'd gone up to her and I said, doing this audit, working out this audit tool, whatever. And I says, I wonder, you're starting this to work with Manchester. I says, but there's nothing in there about outcome measures, about measurements, how is it for you? And then how is it for you? What do we need to do about it to improve? She says, well, the reason wrong is because they're not doing it. So there's no point asking the questions in this time because they just ain't doing it. She says, having said that, they recognise that and we're now starting to let it work. She says, for you, the only option you've got at the moment is to go along with a toolkit with 20 questions, go around for people to say whether these things are happening for you, and then you take that to the trust and say, this is happening for these, or not for these, or whatever. And one of the things from this initial piece of work we did, which is about 18 months ago, finish or whatever, there was one question on symptoms, in terms of getting help from the trust about alleviating my symptoms. Everything else was around, I feel, contact with the services, helps me feel like getting out of bed in the morning, makes me feel like, it helped me to have a closer personal relationships and whatever, and a lot of other stuff. A couple of psychiatrists saw this, and they said, very nice, where's the symptomology? There's only one question on symptoms. He says, believe it or not, people's lives don't go around just the symptoms, higher, lower. It's life stuff. Equally, it's a bit rich whether I'm going to pay you on the basis of whether I could be asked to get out of bed in the morning. But actually, your job is to help me to get out of bed in the fucking morning. And we put it in the morning and not 6 o'clock at night. He says, but you're going to.
So who's the minder that I know?
Rely.
Roman, who's the minder I know of yours?
Emma Rodriguez.
I don't know her.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Who is she, the link woman?
Yeah. So he says, well, but we're going to be relying, in theory, ultimately, on being paid whether you're better by getting out of bed in the morning. I says, what's wrong with that? He says, you don't do it. I says, exactly. You know, I come and see you once every blue moon. People do higher, lower, left, right. I may do this, I may not do whatever. I says, and the only way you listen is whether you get paid next month, because some of us get better or not. And it shouldn't be an accident. And there was somebody else, I remember, asked the question, and it happened a few times before. What was the thing? Because obviously there's good staff and bad staff. And they asked the question once, what, in terms of services, is there anything that helps you make you feel better? And somebody mentioned it, whatever. And I said, well, what was it about that person they have in mind? Well, she broke the rules. And in fact, breaking the rules, she was actually had a talk in the middle of the night, 3 or 4 hours in the night, on the guy's bed. It was the dawn, sat and chatted for a couple of hours in the night, whatever, and he felt better, and we went from there. And which was not really the thing to do. You know, just sitting on somebody's bed in the middle of the night, whatever. And so I said, so you think breaking the rules is what's word for you, and that's what people should start to do? He said, yeah. I said, I can't have that. He says, that's what you want, isn't it, for people to break the rules? He says, no, we need to change the rules.
Allow them so that they can sit in the...
So,
it becomes an
so then that goes into the book, and it doesn't become a disciplinary for the person because of whatever.
Somebody might not look at it the same way, would they?
And you're splitting out. It says, well, no, because if it's a risk that people need to be a risk in their help, but not to the point that they're defensive or whatever.
Basically, a social worker can be a night nurse, you know what I'm saying? And that's explaining that. But if you're a good social worker and you can put up with that, doesn't mean that every client that you've got to babysit them, be by their bedside. You know?
But the problem is, the majority of staff when you look are trained nurses, psychiatric nurses, the medical stuff, whatever. So the number of people who've got any kind of social expertise, whatever, it's pretty minimal. And in terms of mental health, where social workers come into play, it's usually in and around sectioning, being sectioned, being part of that process, whatever. As a, which is fine up to a point, because but what you need is less nursing and more social.
You need more hands-on people, don't you?
You know, and reframing whatever. So that's why you've got all these, equally 50 years ago, or 20 years ago, 30, we had asylums. Now we don't. We don't have inmates anymore, but we still have wards which operate in. The thing though, now nobody wants to go back to asylums, but the one thing about asylums is if you ever got out, at least you left. And you're no longer ill because you're no longer in there, you're now back home. The problem now, you don't have asylums, so you've got thousands of people walking around, and in my view, is they're treating St. Helens as one big psychiatric ward, which is a nonsense. For them to say that one in 4 people are psychiatrically ill, and 1 in 100, 200.
Well, those psychiatric people, in some sense, are keeping all the...
You never then get and feel better. You always think you've got, you're now okay.
Okay.
We're keeping the pubs open.
Right.
That's one angle to look at it.
Well, we keep it. Yeah, but the very first interview panel I ever years ago, and that was on and it was a high level one. There's 3 directors of social services, umpteen chief execs, about 15, 16 people, and it'd be a long day. One bureau director at the time, and it was one of my first experiences. And the question I got out was, they gave you a list of questions anybody wanted to do. And I didn't like any of them. And I said, can you ask me one question? I said, well, okay, I've got one. My question to the candidates was, what mistakes or mistakes have you made in your life? And how did you kind of overcome them? And there was actually one guy who said, I knew you'd ask me that. I didn't know him from Adam. But of course he thought, or whatever.
Rom's Road to Recovery.
But there was one, and it was a female towards the end, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, no, about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, there's just a couple of left, and it had been just, I was wilting, whatever. And and the usual, well, do you want to ask the panel anything? And this woman said, well, can I ask the 2 service user reps, and whatever, how, just direct, at what point would you consider that I've done my job as a bureau director? What would be your perspective as opposed to the job spec and whatever? I said, well, and the person, the other lady gave a good reply and whatever. And what about you, Roman? And I said, to be honest, it's not a case of how would I know when you've done a job. It says, my view perhaps is that I know we've all done the job when this trust gets shut down because there's no need for it. Yeah. At which point,
which is the final whistle.
It was a quiet interview battle, but it went even quieter.
Final whistle.
And the chief exec for the trust, she went on. She says, that was a rather candid remark, Roman. And I says, well, at the end of the day, it's what's here for, and everybody's here to whatever.
So
but
then you've raised that biggest.
I raised the bar that actually I'm not interested in helping this lot to survive. I
actually want them to be like this, so I got a job.
Yeah,
that's how they think.
Find something else to do with life or whatever. Doesn't mean that people won't get ill. Doesn't need whatever. But idealistically, if everything else was okay, then perhaps you will need these services for those things, because people wouldn't become ill in that way and whatever. And I've always kind of kept that, except 2 years ago there was a social service director here at an event, and she got asked from the floor about how she got involved. And she was moving on somewhere else, and she mentioned her history, her personal family and whatever and all the rest of it. And she got asked about how it ended in disappointment. She said, well, as a social worker, I'm now kind of a director or whatever, going on to another one or whatever. She says, I well remember when I first arrived, whatever, and she said, and I thought, give it a few years and we won't need social workers. You know, everything would be whatever. She says, and I don't know whether it was kind of the wrong ambition. She says, but you know, but she says, I didn't come to keep a job. I came to get rid of it.
Do we still need mental health gurus like me and thee?
I would say gurus. There's plenty of whatever. I'd say
no, that's Roland, that, isn't it?
Oh, yes and no, but I'd say that in the end,
well, like
how you get around stigma discrimination is where we have chats and whatever.
We're like agony ants, though, aren't we?
And
are we like agony ants?
Well, and we can also
problem
sit
solvers.
At tables and go to meetings and ask the questions safely enough for people who don't feel comfy, but to the point where one day, as the lady we talked about earlier on, where several years down the line, she feels able to put her hand up and say, what about? Yeah, and she feels okay with asking the question, and it's safe enough, and she's not going to get, and it takes a few years. Yeah.